So we conclude our series of Give Thanks Today as we continue in this season of giving. Our song, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for being, the world is a better place because you're here. And we all must know that because we are here, the world is a better place. Sometimes we don't remember, we don't realize how important we are to the people around us, the people who are in our life every day, let alone to the universe, to the world. And we often say, I thank you, just thank you. Because if you're like me, you have idiosyncrasies. And of course, you know, I'm not married, so I always say, nobody deserves to live with me. Because of my idiosyncrasies, and those people who are in your life, who are close to you, they put up with you. As we use the expression, they put up with you and your idiosyncrasies and your moods, and so we need to take time to thank them. The season of giving began 2 weeks before the date set for Thanksgiving, thereby to impress upon the minds of the mass consciousness to give. I say that any holiday that affects mass consciousness, the total world, is divinely inspired, divinely ordered, and that is to bring us all back to the one, to help us to realize that we are one. To reiterate the principles we've shared this month, the first week we said, when we give, we receive more of like kind. And Dr. Holmes wrote, meaning, if you want love, then you begin to practice loving acts. And when we give with loving and grateful attitude, we tap into the principle of grace and receive from that level. Grace is a state of consciousness. Our scripture for the series was, it is better to give than to receive. It is better to give than to receive. And when we look at the spiritual meaning of that scripture, it points us to the principle of grace, for which gratitude, thanksgiving, and appreciation, and words and action of like kind produces our rewards for our actions. We shared that our attitude is the key. How we give, or what we are thinking about when we give, determines what and how we will receive our reward. We get what we give from. We get what we give from. We shared that the first principle of giving is faith in the unseen, and that we are abundantly supplied with all our needs. Love is the key that unlocks the door of grace. I thank you before. Thank you again. Faith is our first principle. And fear is faith misplaced. In other words, we use the energy worrying about how we're going to make something happen when we are to just use the energy to allow something to happen. And by allowing, we tap into the law of acceptance. And when we move into the law of acceptance, that takes us into the law of grace. Trust was the second principle. And we must learn to trust ourselves. Trust what comes through here and know that the power and presence within us gives us the gift if we will take them. Many times when I was conditioning my mind to understand this thing called life, and to practice it, thoughts would come to my mind that I thought I would have judged off the wall, but I knew what I was doing, so I would follow through It didn't matter what it said. And Dr. Holmes, I kept in the back of my mind, Dr. Holmes said, whatever comes to your mind, if it is to increase your life, if it does not hurt anyone, meaning if you don't have the intent to hurt anyone, then go for it. And the second week, we shared our second principle, which the third principle, which we shared, was the principle of grace. Grace responds to us when we are grateful for what we already have. There's a scripture that reads, if you're grateful over a few things, I will make you ruler over many. I, which is the I am presence, or the I am principle, that we be tapped into as we give. And it is the ruler of all things. It is that level of consciousness that we tap in to move into grace. Last week we shared that being conscious of what we focus upon is the key to receiving. And when we receive a material gift, it is simply a symbol of a spiritual gift. To explain this is the world of particularization, as he calls it, or the body, or our physical body, our physical surrounding. And we stand here, and when we give something, and we lift our mind to this level, this is where the thought came from, to give at this level anyway. So when we lift our mind to this level, we tap into the law of grace. Well, the law of grace supersedes any law of the Spirit, which is one of what we call the 7 up. So if we want to experience more grace in our life, then we simply change our attitude about giving. As we said, our attitude is the key. Last week we shared being conscious of what we focus upon brings it into our life. That is the key to receiving. Now, if we have not conditioned our mind to receive, then whatever comes into our life, we reject it. How many times have I said no to life? Because Gay wanted to give me a gift. I said, no, I have that. I don't want that. Then I'm saying no to the spirit that I am. Gay is simply a reflection in my mind. And she is simply showing me that I need to go to grace. I need to take my thoughts to grace. To take my thoughts first to who I am, the presence within me. Because she doesn't have anything to give me. It is simply a symbol of what it is that I need to express the 7 ups, as I call them. The 7 ups being love, joy, peace, wisdom, beauty, life, and power. Today we share the conclusion of our series as how to bring gratitude in our life. How to develop that consciousness of gratitude so we can tap into grace and simply open up to receive our full supply. This morning our treatment was on supply. And it was on supply because many times we sit around here thinking, well, I need this and I need that and I don't have the other. Instead of thinking, this is what I want to do. I have all that I need to do it and I'm going for it. How to bring gratitude in your life. We bring gratitude into our life by fully participating in our life, being conscious of our giving, how we forgive, how we give, participating in activities which brings us pleasure. We had a president of our organization at one time that said that for some people, if their life flashed in front of them, they would not even see themselves. They'd be on the outside because we don't participate in life. We will go to the edge of the river. We stick our toe in, but we don't go out into the middle. And that is simply living life as it comes through us, as it flows through us. We bring gratitude in our life by being thankful for what we have, being thankful for the people in our life, and view once in a while how life would be without them. As our song so plainly said, I've never heard that song before, and I was listening. I had to listen to it to see what it was saying to me. What is it saying to me? Be thankful for what you have. Count your blessings, as we call it. Remember to say thank you when someone does something for you. When I have an opportunity to give to a person or to do something for a person, open a door, hold a door open, or hold an elevator, I think about who I am. And I'm simply holding this door open or opening the door for this spiritual one to come to its idea, its own idea of its Christ. Sometimes they say thank you, sometimes not. But I've already been thanked because I know why I'm doing it. I represent the Spirit of God within me. And if to represent the Spirit of God within me, then I have to be on point, not them. To bring gratitude in your life, write gratitude list. Most of us have done it. Many of us have done it. And of all things we are grateful for, take time to be with yourself. Write the list of all the things. And this is spending time with yourself. This is participating in your own life. Dr. Holmes said that mental work is definite. And that means that I must participate in whatever I want to come into my life. You see, when I was a spiritual being, at this level of my beingness, I had no body, I had no mind, I had no thoughts. All I was doing was creating at this level. So in my creations, 6 billion years ago, I created all these chairs, all of you who were in my life, these candles. I created everything that I see. Because when I came down here, I don't recall that I created all of this at this level. Then I take it as though, well, simply, I just do things over and over and over. And when I keep repeating these things, doing things the same way, then something happens here. I want something different. I want a different life. Well, when I look back at when I got to those places to have a different life, I wasn't participating in my life. Somebody would say, let's go someplace, and I said, no. This is, I'd have some kind of excuse. And so I began to look at my excuses. And what am I making an excuse for? I have nothing to keep me in my house 5 days a week. So why can't I go? And when I began to participate in my life, that's when I began to flourish. I began to blossom. I began to see things differently, see life differently. When I created up at this level, and that's what makes us co-creators with the Creator. When I created at this level and forgot, I misused a lot of my energy up here, creating what we call non-essential things, creating anger, fear, sadness, all of the opposites of the 7 ups, which we call the unbelief system. If this is, and they told us that our spirit, this is the belief system of our spirit. This is all that we believe in. Now, if we are acting otherwise, it simply means it's time for you to get on track. Misplaced fear is misplaced faith, as we said. So I'm down here, and down here, I get the idea, or I get the feeling of being sad. And it is my opportunity, simply my opportunity, to call on joy, to be more, to participate in my life. Participating in my life means participating in my feelings, and whatever it is I'm feeling, feel it. In closing, our three principles: faith, trust, and harmony, allows us to tap into the consciousness of grace, to receive more, to give. Let us pray. Lord, speak to me in ways that I can understand. And I sit and I listen. I obey. And as we move out into the marketplace, these ideas shared with us through our heart makes a foundation for us to move out into a consciousness of grace, consciousness of gratitude, affection. For love brings on these feelings of gratitude. As we embody these concepts, we give thanks that it is so, and so it is. So it is. So it is.